So, welcome to the Treasury Elite Leadership Series. I would like to thank all our viewers and members for supporting this noble cause of Treasury Elite, whose main objective is networking, knowledge sharing, and mentoring. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Abhishek Goenka, founder of IFA Global and Treasury Elite. We bring in world class FX and Treasury solutions and automation for companies across India over the last 15 years. And today we have Mr. Salesh Haribhakti, Chairman of Salesh Haribhakti and Associates Chartered Accountants. Mr. Haribhakti is a chartered accountant and a cost accountant and certified internal auditor, financial planner, and fraud examiner. He has won several accolades and recognitions, few of which are Distinguished Fellowship Institute of Directors Award 2009, the Best Non-Executive Independent Director in 2007. Mr. Haribhakti actively promotes shared value creation in green environment through his own enterprise and his leadership roles as the chairman of CSR committees of some of the prominent boards which he serves. Mr. Haribhakti has a passion for teaching, writing, and public speaking. He was associated with the prestigious IIM Ahmedabad in the early 80s, and Mr. Haribhakti in the past have engaged with various eminent bodies at chairman and leadership levels like United Way of India, NPS Trust, IMC, Rotary Club of Bombay, SEBI, and many more. Welcome, Salish Bhai. How are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you, Abhishek. What a delight to meet you again after several years.
Excellent. It's my pleasure always to interact with you. How are you doing today? All well?
Very good. Thank you.
So
Wonderful.
glad to have you as a part of the Treasury Elite Entrepreneur Series. In the next 35 minutes, we will love to learn from your experiences. So my first question to you, sir, which I asked to a lot of global CEOs is, one common thread which I could think with a lot of global CEOs would be that they are not doing this just for the money. I would like to ask you one of the biggest single reason for you to get out of bed every morning and get yourself to work. What is it that drives you today? Or if I may ask, what is your why?
Well, that's such a wonderful question, Abhishek. And the straight answer to a wonderful question is that I operate from a purpose. My purpose is that I would like to see our world to be clean. I would like to see it to be abundant. I would see it to be flourishing. I would like to see that people have the same thought that you wanted to know from me about every day in their step. And I think for the first time in the history of our world, we have the economic means, the social means, and every other available resource to be a world which is happy. And
Right.
that is why I'm so excited. There's so much to be done, and there are easy ways in which to do it because the world has discovered that.
That's a very noble thought, sir. In fact, I was listening to Sri Sadguru some time back, and he had the very similar observation of the world that in the last few generations that we have seen, this has been the most comfortable, most connected generation with all the basic things in life, and this is the time that we need to do something. And I think for changing the entire face of humankind. That's a very noble
Absolutely.
thought, sir. Sir, your father founded Hari Bhakti and Company in 1950 and one of the most respected names in the CA fraternity in India. You got some exposure to the business, but you scaled the firm phenomenally from 20 people to say 1,000 people team, introduced many service lines in 1995. Take us through your entrepreneurial journey and some of the your important milestones which boosted your confidence and faith. What are your three important lessons of your life, and what you would like to pass on to the next generation of professional service entrepreneurs?
Fantastic question again, Abhishek. The first and most important learning for me is that you need to be innovative at all times. And you need to be able to judge what is it that is going to make a difference tomorrow, not something that, when repeated often enough from the past, will make the current comfortable. But what is it that we can do and sense that will make tomorrow
Hmm.
10x better than today?
Correct.
So, the most important trait that I would point out is be innovative. Now, to be innovative, it's not going to come to you from outside. You have to work hard. You have to be networked. You have to read a lot. You have to have a diet of all windows to the world open. You got to meet people. You just got to go out there and be in the center of things so you can actually absorb it. So I have kept this framework in my mind throughout my life that I cannot learn by sitting in one place. I can learn only if I'm out there with my clients, with people from government, from the bureaucracy, from public. I mean, I love to just meet people and get a direct sense of how people are reacting to various phenomena. So that's my point number one. Point number two is you need to learn to work with teams and you need to learn to delegate and trust. Create that trust, build that trust, make sure that people will redeem that trust and make sure that you redeem that trust back. Now, unless you create that framework, you will simply not have people working with you, taking on. Nobody can do anything on his or her own. It is impossible. The whole world knows that. I'm not saying anything new. But it's how you cultivate and keep that team motivated at all times, which makes all the difference. So, my second big thing is creating that trust, that relationship, that motivation, that teamwork, that ability to work with people. And teaming is not only with your own people, it is with your clients, it's with your suppliers, it's with all the people you come in touch with. That's number two. And number three, you need to be generous and grateful at all times. You know, I said to my CEO and my top people at one point in time that आप लोग तय कर लीजिए what is it that you would like as remuneration. कुछ बच गया तो then I will take. And I operate from that because I know that when that kind of freedom is given to people, they will be more generous to you than you can imagine or than you can expect. And it is equally important to be grateful and express that gratitude to the Almighty, to the people around you, to your clients, to everybody around you who makes you who you are. So these are my three key lessons that help me to keep remaining one step ahead. Do the next thing, do the next thing.
That's a lovely points that you have put across, especially the third one. And I have often experienced that this really works because now the coin is in their hands and they have to toss it. And it always works. I mean, showing that trust in people, it always works. That even I have felt all the time. You have been part of various prestigious boards. I would want to ask you a few questions on this. So my first question to you on this is, how has the thrust of discussions in the boards evolved over the last few years?
Fantastic. Very, very interesting question. You know, I started my board service 35 years ago when Mr. S.V. Moni, he used to be chairman of General Insurance Corporation. He established a joint venture with George Soros and they set up the GIC Asset Management Company. And I was taken as the first board member of that board. So I'm comparing how boards used to function in that time. This was a very prominent board because it had some exceptional people who were coming together. At that time, the function of the board was to mind the store, make sure that everything was compliant, everything was working according to law, rhythm, regulation, SEBI, mutual fund regulations. Those were the big things that we were particularly cognizant of and which we, over the next 20, 25 years, the journey was of making sure that compliance happens, making sure that the rhythm is right and all of that. Then suddenly the thrust changed when the world burst out. You know, there have been some super cycles, as you know, in the world where growth was galloping. So one of the super cycles was in 1991. After all the liberalization India did, we had a super cycle of growth. And everything was different. Things that were supposed to be under wraps became competitive. Even General Insurance Corporation had to start thinking of how to work with private insurance companies. And everywhere things were opening up and people were wanting to see what happens when you have to compete. So therefore, it was no longer compliance. It then became how do you be competitively strong? And so this whole idea of benchmarking, comparison, making sure that you know what the business model is, how do you innovate on it, how do you bring technology to it, all of those things started getting very, very important. After that came the era of super technology in innovation. So everything got completely driven by technology, whether it was automation, robotics, artificial intelligence, you name the technology, or manufacturing at scale, the kind of factories that I have seen India build. I mean, some of our gems, if you go and visit them, they are extraordinary. The Jamnagar refinery, for example, or the cement plant of Ambuja, or the cement plants of ACC at Wadi. Now, these are all monuments, or even a warehouse of Torrent Pharma, completely robotic. Three people run the entire warehouse. Three people,
Excellent.
completely robotic. No touch and no inventory takes more than 3 minutes to find and bring to the outlet.
This
Three
was which year?
minutes.
This was which year, sir?
This, I'm talking about our visit 7 years ago, 7 years ago.
Okay.
But after that, people have now switched to what I like to call purpose. So the Business Roundtable in August last year, Jamie Dimon talked about stakeholder capitalism, responsible capitalism, and making sure that you are not just serving the needs of your shareholders, but you are serving the needs of your planet. So there that environmental stewardship became an important issue. Social responsibility became a very critical issue. And good governance in terms of making sure that minority interest, the interest of the community, the interest of all the stakeholders who are participating in a company are taken care of. The whole idea of CSR, it's recent. It is not as if it was there forever. Some companies are doing it all the time. But for many, this is a completely new era of not doing things because it is going to deliver the next rupee of EPS, but because it is going to bring the company into a transformational capability to deliver value. So ESG has become the new mantra at boards. I'm personally going through a 200-hour study program, global study program, where board chairpersons from all over the world are coming and talking to us. We are interacting, 25 people together are studying all the 17 SDGs. We're learning about ESG, we're learning about integrated reporting, the six capitals, bringing it together in the context of a board and actually wanting to deliver that purposeful value. This
Right.
is going to become, for the next 15 years, what the world will get engaged in. Between 2020 and 2030, we will see a completely transformational approach to making the world, our planet, far better, far superior. I expect 5 or 6 big dramatic changes to happen. 90% of all power will come from renewable sources by 2030. 90%. We will have a phenomenal number of automated, autonomous electric vehicles. Nobody will buy an ICE car. I would not buy another ICE car. Jo hai wo theek hai. My next car will have to be an electric car. And I hope that all the citizens of the world think and act from that kind of paradigm. And I know that universal basic income and universal basic service will be delivered, has to be delivered. Look at what has happened. The world is a flush with money, with what central banks and governments have poured into the hands of people, into the hands of corporations. Now, this all has to count for something. And that's what's going to be the new transformational role of countries, of cities, of corporations, of individuals, of not for profits, everybody working together to transform all of this. The world is going to be 100 trillion world in 2021, which is when the next super cycle is expected to restart, largely because of all of the stimulus that we have received. And when that super cycle emerges, we will see a 10% nominal growth on $100 trillion world. So imagine what the future holds and imagine the responsibility all of us will have as board members and as people who are sort of holding this baby and trying to make it move and run with the times. So that's the challenge. And therefore, board service has become extraordinarily challenging, extraordinarily interesting. And every meeting is better than the previous one because people are encouraged to ask questions, ask difficult questions, and try and change the world, and try and change the company. That's
That's
where
a
we are going.
that's a beautiful perspective, and I'm sure lots of board members who would be listening to you today, they would have some very interesting takeaways about how the future of their companies, is going to change because the entire universe, the entire ecosystem around us is changing in a very different format. A very important point you mentioned about the planet sustainability. I think time and again this has been reinforced in a lot of articles and a lot of papers. And with regards to boards, since you're so active, I would also like to ask you that you're building such a great enterprise, and I would like to ask you one question for all the entrepreneurs who are listening to you today. So, I feel that success in entrepreneurship does not happen till you know how to be conscious of your thoughts, have a crystal clear vision, the vision that you are talking about, next 15, 20 years, be extremely flexible and nimble like a palm tree. What are your learnings in terms of your spiritual and leadership journey? And how do entrepreneurs deal with the emotions of failure, self doubt, regret? I'm sure you have had your share of ups and downs. Any thoughts on
Absolutely.
this?
No, such a brilliant question, Abhishek, because, you know, the most important trait that human beings should have is adaptability and agility. So as soon as you find a stimulus, now you found COVID. Today, I actually got upset because people started putting the blame for non-performance on the fact that we had COVID in the last 2, 3 months. I said, I don't accept this at all. It was a great period in which nature was testing you. Nature came at you with that small little virus and said, now let me find out who has the best genome which can adapt to this. Those are the guys who were spared. Who can get into this virus and come out? Those are the guys who went through it and came out. And there were others who could not adapt and they got caught. But the lessons we have to learn is the lesson of creating immunity, the lesson of creating that agility, that self driven power, which will enable us to overcome, which will enable us to meet every challenge. Again, I go back to Mr. Narayan Murthy, who said that the greatest thing that Infosys does is that no matter what happens, it will give a response. Now, that is the spirit that the FANGs, what have the FANGs done in the world? The five large market cap companies of the world. Only three things they've done. They have all operated at human scale. You take Apple, you take Google, you take Samsung, you take any of the FANGs, you take Netflix. Every human being can access that product or service. That is why they are the most highly market cap companies. And do you ever remember having felt the pinch of buying or downloading anything from Apple? No, because they quietly took away 250 rupees, or 219 rupees is their favorite number, which keeps getting debited to your account every month if you are on Apple Music or whatever else.
Right.
So
Right.
that is where the world is going. Spiritually, India has the soft power, and therefore we will be able to make that as a big asset as we go forward.
Correct. Correct. We just need to realize and learn from it. I think we have so much. Just need to understand that India has got so much on that. Sir, one fun fact about you, what people do not know.
The fact that I'm a movie buff, I watch every movie. There's not a single movie that I do not watch, and I'm extremely fond of a lot of these serials now that there is no movie going. So we are watching serials on a regular daily basis. I'm very fond of sports as well. My grandchildren will not tolerate breakfast if I'm not able to discuss with them every statistic from IPL.
Interesting. Interesting. My last question, and then I'll let you go, is that you have created an iconic brand and it's widely respected. What is your brand philosophy?
Be true to yourself and be true to the people that you are working with. Be honest at all times. Be transparent. That's it. What is the brand's promise? Why do you go out and naturally buy the brand of toothpaste that you use every day? Because you have faith that that brand will deliver. What do you expect? Your expectation may be X, somebody else's may be Y. It doesn't matter. But you buy it unhesitating. You don't even ask the price, do you? You
Correct.
don't.
Correct.
Because you have trust in the brand.
No, so rightly said. I mean, there is so much of jargons and information written on it, but actually, if you actually analyze, it's very simple. Can you build that trust and deliver? Period.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Excellent. So much of wide perspective, so much on ideas on the board, so much on how the planet is going to shape up, so much leadership lessons and spiritual points that you put across. And lastly, on the brand was a very simple, eye-opening fact. What people sometimes forget, and they spend millions and millions of dollars just on the font, look, shape, size, and not looking at the basic premise that trust and delivery is the most important thing, no matter what business you are in. Thank you so much, Sailesh Bhai, for your time. It's
Thank
lovely
you.
interacting with you, and always a pleasure to take inputs from you. I'd love to meet you again once this COVID thing is slowing down. But always it's a fun to interact with you.